Hi, everyone. This is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. And my guest today is Bonnie Moore. Bonnie is the founder of Golden Girls Network, which is a service for matchmaking women who have a room in their house they want to rent with someone who wants a place to live. Bonnie, it's really great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You know, I have been really looking forward to speaking with you because I think that this movement towards living in community, women living together, is a very, big, trend. And we have a community of, lots of 50,000 women and over 60. And I think it's a great service that you're providing.
Thank you.
So we've talked in another video about, the benefits of considering a roommate, and bringing someone into your home, and the benefits for the roommate, obviously, of having financial security and emotional support and so on. But tell me about the phenomenon of bringing a person into your home and, I guess the mistakes that you can make if you don't look at them as a human being coming into your home and you're not willing to make adjustments. What mistakes can you make in choosing a roommate?
Well, I think there's an attitude shift, and it's a valuable attitude shift. For instance, just before my husband and I split up, we remodeled the kitchen, and I had every fancy thing there was, and new dishes, and new this and that. And then the marriage split up, and I still had all the fancy stuff. And I started
husband, but lots of stuff.
Yeah, I got the stuff and not the husband. But I started bringing in roommates. And one of the things that happened very early on, that first roommate, she started cooking in my kitchen. And I kind of freaked out. And she's using all of my stuff. And I didn't used to let anybody cook in my kitchen. And one time she was making a big pot of soup, and I sat on the stool across the counter from her, and I just wringed my hands because she was making a mess in my kitchen and she was using my stuff. And I had to let go of it.
Yes.
I had to say to myself, the stuff doesn't matter that much. Yeah. And she cleaned up the mess. She made her soup. She did this, but it was just that process of saying the stuff doesn't matter. The person matters, having somebody in the house, having someone to talk to. She and I were both going through some very difficult times, and we'd sit on the stool with our glasses of wine and talk forever. That was more important. Yeah. And now, and I love to tell this, now I don't cook. Everybody else cooks. Everybody else uses my stuff. Something gets broken, that's okay. It'll get replaced.
Do you know what? Sorry. You know what I noticed when you were talking, which I think is just something to point out, is that when you were telling the story and you were describing, it was my kitchen, my things, my house, her cooking, you were talking about it not like this is not our home. This was my stuff, her stuff. And maybe that's one of the mistakes you make is of the her and me kind of duality.
You have to let go. Absolutely. Yes. You have to allow people to feel like it's their home also.
Yes, I think that's really important.
I still have to take care of the stuff and as the owner of it, but I have to very consciously allow other people to let this feel like their home.
We were talking earlier, and I think it'd be great to mention it again about cleanliness, that this is a really big one for women. That, if we've been, like the time we left college, maybe in our 20s, and now we're 50 or 60, a lot has happened. We've established lots of habits and done things our way. But it sounds like one thing that's perhaps can be a mistake is trying to impose your perfect place, like the cleanliness thing. Talk a bit about that. That was quite interesting.
And that's something we talk about every time there's an interview, because what I tell people is I'm not the cleanest person in the world. I think I'm clean enough. I may leave something on the coffee table. Don't come pick it up. Don't come pick up after me. Right. You have to find your match. Or if you're a very, very clean person, you have to let go of imposing on somebody else. The group that's here at my house now, we've worked things out very well. And sometimes you clean up after somebody else. Sometimes they clean up after you. It just kind of works, and we don't fuss about it. You don't fuss and say, oh, that's your spoon. You need to pick this up, or you need to do this, or you need to do that.
Right.
You have to
It's
work together as a group. It's very collaborative, and you don't find fault on simple little cleanliness things. If it bothers you, take care of it. If it bothers you bad enough, mention it and we'll try to do better.
Right.
But don't impose on me.
We talked about this whole business about kind of acceptance and open-mindedness being good qualities when you're looking for a roommate. But do you think that one of the mistakes that we make is not being prepared to change? That we might, actually find that the way that person does something is kind of worth learning from. Maybe a simpler lifestyle. Someone comes with a suitcase and that's all they've got in their life. And you think, oh, wow, I've got like a garage full of stuff. Maybe I'll change.
I'm jealous of the women who move in here with nothing more than their suitcases, because I have this big house to take care of, and every other weekend and things like that. And I'm always giving away stuff. I can't wait for the day when I can finally be free. But no, it's there is value, absolutely, from other people. Sometimes there's value from just getting to know a different personality, a more calming personality, for instance. And I'm thinking of one of my roommates who's a very, very calm person. Right. And sometimes I have to think of her when I'm dealing with an issue.
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm hearing, and I think it's really resonant. This is a great conversation, by the way. I'm really understanding. I haven't had a roommate, since college, and so this is quite an interesting thought process. Is that I think, like you described your divorce at the beginning, it's like I think one of the things you can go wrong with looking for a roommate is thinking you can change someone else. Like in a marriage, it's like the same thing. Like, oh, I love this person, but there's just that one thing I don't like. But no problem, I'll change him or her.
Oh, yes. No. I've had people who come in and they want everyone to follow their vitamin routine or their eating routine or their exercise routine. No, I'm going to sit on the couch and vegetate if that's what I feel like doing. Don't try to change me. And that's it. That's an important part of living together, is being willing not to change somebody.
Yeah. No, I think that your questionnaire that is in the book is really, really helpful, because it actually, you've moved your computer up a bit. Could you put it?
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. There, I lost you for a moment. You disappeared. No, I just think that that's, one of the most important things is like being open-minded to, knowing that you're going to have to modify your behavior, that you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. You can't change someone, but to ask them that. And then, as I said, in your book, you've got this great questionnaire that goes through, things to prompt, it's not like it trick people into saying something, but they say it as part of who they are. And then you realize, no, that's really probably not going to work.
Yeah.
So did you make any big mistakes? You'd have to mention any names, but anything that we can learn from?
Let me say it this way. I've had people come and go. Some people I've accepted as roommates, and it turned out the first month is always good. The second month is where second month is where the problems come up.
Right.
And I have asked people to move after the second month. Because you could see it didn't work out. I've had some people who, one woman in particular who was a very angry person, very angry, and she was fighting with everybody. She didn't work out.
Yeah.
I can't have that kind of anger in the house.
Yeah.
So there are things that come out when you put 5 strangers together, and you have to make sure it's going to work.
And it's not all like the Golden Girls TV show where everybody had their differences, but somehow the script just made it all work. It wasn't real world. It was just kind of fantasy world. So, but I think that actually that's a fifth thing I think there, though, that, and it gets back to what we talked about in another video, that you have to know yourself. You have to know your boundaries. And that's a mistake, thinking that that you haven't taken the time to really ask yourself, is an angry person going to work or not? And knowing when, like you said, to say no and call it a day.
Yeah. the luck of the draw. Sometimes you do your very best, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it sounds like you've given women a great platform to try it out anyway. And as you said, and in the book, you give lots of guidance for how to end a relationship, how to end a lease in a situation. Mm-hmm. And, like we got to take a chance sometimes, and you don't know until you're pushed, how strong you are until you're pushed.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks, Bonnie. Really great advice and help in, the things to look out for when you're trying to find a roommate in your 50s and beyond. And good luck with the initiative. It's goldengirlsnetwork.com.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Bonnie.